at Scalar, one of the first articles that went on Google #1 was my article. Actually, they reached out to me on LinkedIn after reviewing my work.
Welcome to How I Got the Job. I'm your host Vindhya, and today we have Jasleen. Like usually we bring people who are doing their jobs and who have finished their education like a while ago. But today with us, we have a student herself, and apart from being a student, she's an educator too. And the best part about her career is she became an educator while being a student. So this one's going to be a unique interview and welcome Jasleen. So
Thank you so much,
today she's
India. Thank you for having me.
that's lovely. And today Jasleen is going to take us through all the different internships that she's been through and how like you can balance your life at internships alongside being a student and how like you don't have to give out any excuses or how you can achieve a perfect balance. And she also has a very wide spectrum of the types of internships and the field she's working on and has worked on. So I'm excited for that as well. And let's know more about her from herself. So welcome Jasleen once again.
Thank you so much for having me, Mindya, and thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. I am a little flattered, which is says a lot. Thank you so much for having me. And yeah, like you said, perfect balance is everything, and I think that sets the tone for our entire discussion today.
Yeah. So first things first, like multitasking, and the first type of students that strike anybody's mind is engineering students, because obviously, like most of
Mhm.
engineering students do everything apart from engineering. So Jasleen, like tell us your first encounters with the tech field and how did you get into this field and how was coding as an experience for you? So what was that phase like?
Okay, I'll start right at the beginning. So we had our
Yeah.
first coding class somewhere around eighth grade, right? And I have an
Mhm.
elder brother who used to code. We had this computer at home, very fascinating stuff. So I basically got interested because of him. And then when it started in school, I was like, okay, great. This thing does the math for me. I do not need to learn math. So I am someone who's a little lazy and I don't like math. So that is how my interest started with computer science, and then it just went uphill from there. I mean, we did 4 years of coding in school from 8th to 12th grade. And then
Okay.
during 12th grade, when there's time to pick your stream and start your career, we all are pretty intimidated what to choose, what to do. So most people my age did go for an engineering at that time, but I was a little confused. I was not sure what to do, where to go. So I picked for a completely different course. So I did triple majors basically in physics, maths, and computer science. So
Okay.
although computer science was my one-third subject, but it was my sole focus. Again, did not wanted to go with the crowd, did not wanted to do a quintessential engineering degree and then not land up with, a great idea or a great passion for life. So I
Yeah.
started with that. So basically, for all the people who are from a science background, will agree all the subjects are basically very interrelated. So if you study
Yeah, yeah,
physics, you
yeah.
need to know math. If you study math, you'll get physics. And if you use both, you get computer science. I mean, semiconductors and things like that. That's how you make hardware, software, so on. So yeah, I mean, college started, coding was great, great subjects, great set of papers that we had, and then the interrelation between the two were also great. And the best part was I moved to Bangalore for my bachelor's. So Bangalore,
Okay.
we all know, basically the Silicon Valley of India.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, when they saw people doing all this fast-paced stuff, and this is me, 18 and a half years old, and I'm like, wow, if they can do it, why can't I? So that is how I started my internship journey. So I started applying in the first year itself, got one within the first or second month of college.
That's
And then,
lovely.
there was no stopping from there because every day you learn something new. You learn something new in college, you learn something new while working. And then you realize, okay, this is endless. You can go on and on
Yeah.
and on. So that is
Yeah.
basically my idea how I got into coding.
So like talk about can you uh, brief us more about your first internship experience. Like, what was the internship role, and how did you land up that internship in the first place?
Okay, so well, the first internship that I ever did was at Java Tea Point. So it all started with, I was going through these internships on Internshala, and I did not have a skill set obviously because I was just fresh out of 12th grade, just
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah,
Java till 12th grade. But yeah, Java was the only skill I had. And then I was scouting and I was like, okay, this internship just needs to me to know English and Java. So I like writing as well. So I was like, okay,
yeah,
I can write and I know Java. So I applied. Then they sent me a short test. So I was supposed to solve a few coding problems and send it back to them, which I was
yeah,
pretty much okay with. I did that, and I was not really expecting anything because it was my first one. And the first one you usually get rejected, and I was okay with that. I was ready that
yeah,
the
yeah,
first 4 or 5 that I'm gonna apply to, I will definitely get rejected. But then they were like, okay, we like your work, welcome aboard, and that is how I got
yeah,
it. I was pretty surprised myself that okay, the first place that I applied to and I got in. So it was very safe to say a huge confidence boost because I was
yeah,
just out of school. So that was a great experience in the long run because that did not stop me from applying more. Maybe even some things that were out of my limits, I was like, okay, I'll learn. Let me just
yeah,
apply and see what happens. So at Java Tea Point, basically, they used to send me, work for developing codes for references. On the website, if we go and check out, it's basically lessons, a lot of open source code for students to learn
yeah.
coding and reference materials. So those kinds of things. So
Okay,
that was basically my job role for a while.
that's lovely. And moving on from Poverty Point, like, what was your next stop? Where did you land up after that?
Well, after that, I got into this program by Internshala. So it is called the Internshala Student Partner Program.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
in the
yeah.
program, basically you guide other people to get internships. So I
Mm-hmm.
did that in my campus. So I studied in Mount Carmel, Bangalore. So I did that on my campus, got a couple of people into it, and then we all started looking for internships together. So the next significant one that I got was at GradeUp. It's an edtech platform for science students, and they have material for competitive exams, coding courses, and things like that. Again,
Yeah,
similar
yeah,
work to Java T Point, but kind of different because their parameters are different. They've published all that stuff on their app and website as well. And I got
yeah,
another one at the same time working there as well. So it was like two internships at the same time. So the other firm was Multibhashi because like I said, I like writing, I enjoy literature. So I wanted to do something
yeah,
to satisfy my creative side as well. So
yeah,
I was doing those two internships simultaneously. So at Multibhashi, I worked as a content creator in English and Hindi because I am a Hindi speaking person. So I like Hindi as well. And at Grade Up, I was responsible for again the technical content, the science based, physics based content. So that was the two internships I did after that.
that's lovely. And this question popped up right now. How did you balance the two internships alongside a college life, and especially when two internships have so much disparity, like one is totally creative and one is totally technical. So how did you strike a balance between all of this?
Okay, should I give the honest answer or should I give the diplomatic answer?
Honest answer.
Okay, the honest answer is a lot of hard work and not a lot of sleep because
Mm-hmm.
if you are working in two places, you have commitments, you have a
Yeah,
responsibility to
yeah,
them. You can't fail the managers that you have, you can't fail your
that's
deadlines. And at college, of course, you need minimum attendance, you need to pass the exams, you need to attend the classes to be able to sit for the
exactly.
exams. So it's basically your entire day is booked. You do not have a lot of time to do self
Yeah,
care or me time or to hang out with your friends. But
that's true.
sometimes it gets frustrating, yes, that you can't go out with your friends, have a good time, watch a movie maybe. But
Yeah,
in the long run, it does teach you a lot about work ethic that, if you have to get something, if you're really passionate about it, you have to sacrifice some bits of it to achieve some others. So if I'm doing 5 hours of college, I used to immediately come back, sit with my work, check my assignments for the day, and what am I supposed to get it done. And yeah, if I used to get it done in time, I used to maybe treat myself to an ice cream at night or go at a movie at night. But yeah,
yeah,
it's a tough boat. It's a tough boat, but I still think it's just as a student, you can do this. I mean, until you're till 18 years old, you're at home, you're mostly in the comfort of your family, you're a kid.
That's true.
But once you start your undergraduate degree, bachelor's degree, you have all this time and all this opportunity and all this energy. I mean, your 20s is the only time you will have this much passion, this much energy to
That's
do
true.
anything. So 20s is the best time to do multiple works at the same time because you have the focus and energy for it. Later on, I think once we get a little older, like if I look back at my 18-year-old self, I'm 22 right now. So
Yeah.
I also sometimes feel like, how did I manage that? Because now, with the kind of commitments I have and with the amount of studying I have to do in my master's degree, I cannot imagine, taking out so much time for it. So the simple answer is a lot of hard work, a lot of commitment, not a lot of sleep.
Yeah. Also, like with everything going on and you doing two different internships, like internships are basically the building blocks for the career or job you want to land up. But
Mhm.
considering your career graph, it's been a little different considering you're pursuing a master's in data science now. But
Yeah.
what was it about content and teaching tech and coding that kept you going at that point? Did you know that that may not be your future in the longer run, or were you pretty confident that that's what the field is going to be for you? So how was your thought process back then?
Okay, so basically, in my first year, I had not narrowed down what I want to do in life. I was pretty passionate about physics. I was pretty passionate about computer science as well. So in
Yeah.
first year, I did not really give it much thought, that, I have to do internships only that are relevant to my field or
Yeah,
I
yeah,
should not explore.
yeah.
Content was fun to do and I still do it for fun and for, professional reasons is because I really,
Yeah.
really enjoy writing. I mean, I still think I am a better writer than I am a better speaker. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a new experience for me because someone was out there paying me to do stuff that I do for fun. So, they
Yeah.
say this thing that you should do one hobby for keeping you fit, one hobby to make you money,
Yeah,
one
yeah,
hobby
yeah.
to make sure you have fun. So that was my fun because it comes very easily to me. It does not require a lot of brain power to actually sit and write something. I mean, it comes really easy. It's like second nature. So I started enjoying it basically. I was like, okay, this is something I'm good at. This is something that is paying me well, and this is something where I'm learning a lot. So
Yeah.
that was one motivation, and of course, the second motivation was data science was nowhere in picture in first year. So I was like, okay, why not explore? Why not see the things that I'm capable of? So that is
Mm-hmm.
why I tried to, dabble between both technical stuff, non-technical stuff. Even did
Yeah.
some, SEO marketing, social media marketing, digital marketing, because why not? Let's try out, let's see
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
out
yeah.
there. So by second year, I did start narrowing out my fields because by second year, I was pretty confident that I am going to go for a master's degree. I will be doing data science. I even had, the courses picked out, the colleges picked out, that, this is what I'm going to do. So from second year, I did deviate back to the technical aspect of it. But in the first year, I chose to give myself the freedom to explore whatever opportunity that I liked.
That's lovely. Also, like Jasleen, as somebody who explored so many fields and who also still does content and who also and you've been through like so many internships and in so many different fields. So, what did you gain from that experience? Generally, like how important is that experience for a college student? Because a lot of people right now who are probably in their second or third years just shut down on opportunities out of fear of not being focused out of the fear of being focused on the field they are in rather than exploring options because they think it's too late when they're just in second
Mhm.
or third year. So
Mhm.
can you talk about your experience that can probably motivate and help others to see the opportunities in other fields as well?
Well, the basic bottom line of this is that, not everyone knows everything, but everyone
Yeah,
starts learning once they start doing something. So even in
that's true.
my case, I had no idea that I would be good with content or I would be good with tech or I would be good with data science. It all happened one by one, step by step. And all the
Yeah,
works that I did kind of, led me here where I am. So it wasn't just one opportunity because if you're in a classroom, you just have the set of classmates that you have and the set of teachers. That's the limited
that's
source of
true.
information you have. But once you join an internship, maybe you make a friend, you have a manager, you have someone above the manager, you are
Yeah.
reporting to them daily, you are having conversations with them. Maybe they're talking about something that you don't know about, and then you approach them and you ask them, that I don't know this, tell me about it, tell me more. And they tell you more. And that is how, the lights start popping in your head. Okay, this exists. I did not know this. My college did not teach this to me. So that is
Yeah.
how you actually start thinking as a kid, because till 18 or 19, when you're in school, we have a very rigid education system. We're like, okay, go to class, study, pass the class, get the highest marks,
Sure.
and pass out. There is not a lot of room to imagine or not a lot of room to think. But in workplaces, it's very different. They expect you to think, they want you to think, they pay you to think. They don't want the textbook stuff, they're done with it. They
Yeah.
want you to innovate, they want you to create some new stuff. And that can only happen when you sit down and brainstorm, right?
That's
So
right.
I think just the classroom experience as a college student is absolutely not enough. And I know it is scary, it is intimidating when you don't know stuff, yet you're still putting yourself out there. But putting
Yeah.
yourself out there will get you ideas, will get you more information about things you don't know, will help you make more friends, meet more people. And eventually, somewhere in life, you will use that knowledge, which was not
That's
present in
right.
that classroom. If I would have just stuck to my classroom program, I would have never realized, that, content is a proper business. People do content for a living. Freelancing is a concept that you do. And there are student ambassador programs all over the world by MNCs who are like, they want people to do it. They want you to go that
That's
extra
true.
mile. They help you to grow. So if I would
That's
have just
true.
stuck to my classroom, I would never have discovered all these opportunities. And I think that is kind of the problem with our system as well. They just want you to focus on the academics part. But in the long run, academics are obviously just not enough. So my
Yeah.
advice basically would be, just even if you're in second year, it's not too late. Third year, not too late. Fourth year, not too late. Just start. Start with something small. Start with some business that your friend is doing. Start with the lowest paying internship that you get. It's fine. Just start. That's all you can do, and that you'll thank yourself for it in the end.
Yeah. Talking about internships, like you've done internships with some of the top brands, and currently you're also associated with Unacademy. And
Yeah.
can you talk to us more about those experiences and your top two picks and the two organizations that you're associated to right now while pursuing your master's? Can you talk to us about your job roles there and how did you land up with those internships or jobs, as I may call?
Yeah. So I graduated this year, early June. So I
Mm-hmm.
was free for a couple of months, and I was like, okay, why not do something? We have a free time on our hands. We have a couple of months. So again, I went to LinkedIn. LinkedIn again, the best platform for students, professionals, everyone. I went on LinkedIn. I started scouting opportunities, and then I saw this opening from Scalar Academy. They were looking for technical writers. So I obviously applied. I was like, okay, I have done this before. I'm good at it. I like writing. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a fun experience, and it's a great brand. What's not to like?
Mm-hmm.
So I applied, and again they gave me a test assignment, which again they really liked what I wrote.
Yeah.
So then they invited me for a one-on-one interview. We had that interview. Again, went pretty great. The manager was pretty impressed with what I had written, what my thought process was. There was also a technical round where they wanted to check my tech background and tech knowledge, whether I was up to the mark or not. And
Yeah.
then, yeah, then they were like, okay, come on board, let's start working. So now Scalar Academy has come up with a sister initiative kind of thing. It's called Scalar Topics. You can find it at scalartopics.com. So
Yeah.
basically, they have created free learn paths for people who want to learn Python, DBMS. So we have a lot of articles on front end, back end engineering, things like that. So my job role basically initially for the first 2 months was to write articles for them on tech topics, could be front end, Java, C++, Python, and then basically a lot of the whole tech spectrum, whatever I liked, I could just pick and write. So I did that for around 2 months with them. And then around the third month, they were satisfied with my work. They liked what I was doing. So then they offered me an editor position with them as well. So I used to write as well as edit with them. So edit to make sure the content is, enlightening. It's not boring. People actually study from it and actually learn something from it instead of, This because nowadays courses are very easy. We just click on next, 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 and we get the certificate.
Yeah.
And that is not really the point, right? We don't learn anything. So the content on Scalar Topics is, trying to relate all the tech jargon with real world examples. I mean, there's an article that I wrote over there on algorithms. So just like we bake a cake, that's how we write an algorithm. So we try to relate those concepts with each other so that the user feels, okay, I know this. I have baked a cake. So of course I can learn algorithms and data structures.
Okay.
Why not? Yeah. So again, it's
And
really fun over there.
with
And
Unacademy?
yeah, so at Unacademy, again, I got the position because I was working at Scalar. So at Scalar, one of the first articles that went on Google #1 was my article. So it was on a topic of Java, which was really highly rated, ranked a good SEO rating, and everyone was really happy with that.
Yeah.
So at Unacademy, actually, they reached out to me on LinkedIn after reviewing my work and my Medium blog and looking at my writing style. And the job role there, again, they have a sister initiative coming up called Relevel. So Relevel is
Okay.
for working professionals to come, learn, upskill, and get better jobs. So that
Mm-hmm.
is what Relevel is gonna do. So over there again, I don't create content there, but I review content. So they have creators who are working on creating study modules, quizzes, question papers, even placement exams kind of question papers. So I am responsible for reviewing them, make sure they're technically apt, the question makes sense, the question is something that might come up in the future or in the interviews. So that is basically my job role with Unacademy, Relevel by Unacademy. Both are freelance positions, which is great for me because it allows me to work on my pace while doing my full-time master's degree. And since a little bit of a brag, they like my work, so they don't mind me emailing them at 3 a.m. Okay, that the work is done, and they're like, okay, as long as you're doing the work, we are happy with it. So that is why I actually really love freelancing and advocate it as well, because it gives you opportunities that you cannot do while doing a full-time degree, because you can't do a full-time job, you can't commit yourself anywhere full-time, but with freelancing you have a lot of scope. So that is
Okay.
basically what I do both at Scalar Academy and at an academy.
That's lovely. Also, like Jasleen, with like you mentioned earlier in this interview, you knew it in your second year that you want to do a master's in data science. So, like data science, though it's a technical, it comes under the technical field, but it's very different from coding, and it doesn't involve a lot of coding, but more of analytical thinking and the other
Mm-hmm.
part of tech. So, like when you knew that engineering or graduating wasn't your final goal, and it's something different that you want to pursue, so was it hard for you to get to the hard phases of engineering, like the KTs or the exams in general, and especially with the lockdown kicking in for the last 2 years of your graduation? So how did you get through that?
Well, initially, when I was in my second year, I was pretty low, to be very honest. I was not sure where I was going. I was like, okay, I'm doing internships, but where is this going? What am I supposed to do? And data science was still not a prevalent term back then. Nobody knew about it. There are still not a lot of colleges that offer a proper degree in it. But then I had done this astrophysics course in college. It was an elective course. I did that, and again, astrophysics is not just pen and paper and textbook, right? You actually have to look at space and planets and things like that. And that is when I realized, okay, they don't really use telescopes and sit and watch things and analyze. They have mechanisms to collect all that data, and then they analyze that data using programming. That was
Yeah.
totally brand new information to me, that okay, with code we can also do this. So that is how I got into the whole rabbit hole of finding out, okay, where else is data science used, where else is analysis used, where else people work with data, and then they just use their thinking, they find patterns, and then they predict stuff. That is how I realized how much data science is used in finance, in healthcare. I mean, during COVID, the analyzing of the x-rays and the
Yeah.
medications, oxygen resources, all of that was possible because of data science. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has just boomed after the pandemic, I think, and it is still very much on the urge of booming. So, when the pandemic did happen, and I saw all these studies and all these projects that people were building, the models that people were building, I was convinced that this is what I want to do, because I have the aptitude to code. I want to solve a problem that is larger than life and bigger than me.
Yeah.
And I have the passion to, see it through. So that is around the time I was convinced that this is what I have to do. And around the second year of my college, I also had some, health issues, and I fell sick. I had a lot of KTs, which I successfully passed, thank God. But it was tough, yes, balancing, your aspirations and your education where you might not be so satisfied, but the work that you're doing
Yeah.
is so satisfying, you can't leave any one of them. It is
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
taking, it takes a toll on you. But the pandemic also, again, online classes, absolutely new experience and everything. But I'd say my college did manage it pretty well, although the first couple of months were very rough. But then, what they say, change is constant. You have to adapt. So that
Yeah.
is what I tried to do, because I'm not someone who wants to, sit down and be sad. I'm kind of the glass half full kind of a person. So I was like, okay, I am at home. I still I'm privileged enough to sit in my home, use a laptop, do my education. Not a lot of people have that. So we should not really, crib about it and waste time. Although, yeah, we're all human. We do that from time to time, but I was pretty convinced, that I want to finish this degree. I want to start my next degree. So even the master's program, I'm currently sitting in college and doing this session with you. But we had the first couple of months online. It was pretty tough, not gonna lie. Making new friends, meeting your faculty just through a screen, and not seeing your classroom, not sitting in a class. Very difficult. But it's been a month since I've been back, and I can, tell the difference. It's cloud apart. You can just sense the difference. You can maybe, the campus life is completely different, and it does change you, and it molds you in the person that you are at the end. So yeah,
Yeah.
pandemic was difficult. Data science is difficult, but I guess if you're having fun and if it's something that you like, you will see it through. So that's my story of, the pandemic and how I navigated through it.
Yeah. So, like, last question would be, now that we know your entire journey, like, what was, especially in the past 1.5 year, 2 years, like, what was it that got you through all those KTs and graduation and then getting into a new atmosphere and pursuing your masters?
This answer is actually the simplest of this entire session, because so just when the pandemic started, I got into the Microsoft Student Ambassador program, and that program has literally changed my life. I'm still a student, so I'm still a part of the program. I got into the program in August 2020, and we are in December 2021. It's been more than a year, and the transformation has been amazing. I have met friends, I have made friends, I have learned a lot. I have even been featured in two of Microsoft's events. And I
Lovely.
mean, things like that. Yeah, so we had MS Build back a couple of months ago, and we had MS Ignite in October. So I was featured in both of these events as a live member audience. So these things, these small things really motivate you in the long run. And you just keep getting that confidence boost that, okay, I am on the right track. I am doing well. That is why I am getting these opportunities. I am learning more. I'm upskilling more. I'm meeting like-minded people, and I have met a lot of wonderful people through the program. Again, like I said in the beginning, internships help you meet people. This program was one of those, life-changing moments for me, because then I started realizing the importance of connections, networking, how connections get you opportunities, and how you can grow with them.
Yeah.
So this program has been the, saving grace of the all the difficult time, the online studying and everything, because you're teaching, you're learning, you're meeting new people, you're upskilling, you're getting all these benefits from Microsoft, and it's a very, very wonderful ride. I mean, I will graduate in about a year, and the only thing I'll be sad about is that I won't be a part of this program anymore. So, in short, yes, the program is great, and I would really like to advocate it that, if you're still a student in any year and you have a technical background, please apply to this program as soon as you can. And if you need any help, you know where to find me. I will help you apply, because it is literally life changing, and I totally, totally advocate it for everyone. You should at least try to
Okay.
apply to it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that
So,
was
like,
my saving grace.
what's like the basic step to apply to the program? Like, do they do it directly?
The basic step is basically you have to be a student, you have to be more than 18 years of age, and you should have a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of technical background. That's it, computer science background. And they have a application process, so they take in students on a quarterly basis. So they
Okay.
have their applications open. You can make your application, you can write your answers, make your videos, submit your application, and just hope for the best. If they like your profile, they will take you in.
Lovely. So on that note, we come to the end of this interview. Like, thank you, Jasleen. It's been a great interview talk, and it's been one heck of a ride talking to you, like taking us through the ups of your internships while also talking us about your KTs and the dark side of how education can affect you. But ultimately, you gave us all a solution. Thank you for that, and wishing you all the best with your masters and everything that the future has in store for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really had a great time talking to you.
That's lovely. So, like before you leave, if you can just so guys, if you want to find Jasleen, then all her links will be in the description below. And for many such fun interviews, make sure to tune to How I Got the Job and subscribe to us. And Jasleen, before you leave, do you want to tell us anything else?
I'd just say if you're a student watching this and if you're in your any year of your education, I'd just say just apply to internships. Please do yourself a favor, apply to internships and actually enjoy them. That's all. Thank you.